Hey guys, it's Nicole Eaton with the Rock Your Soul book and podcast, where we talk about how to hack your mindset, grow your intuition, and live your best life. You can support this podcast by subscribing, leaving a positive review, and screenshot and sharing on social media. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Rock Your Soul podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Eaton, author of the book Rock Your Soul, The Down to Earth Guide to Mastering Your Mind and Soul Therapist. You can grab my book, Rock Your Soul, on Amazon. I'm so excited to be coming to you, at you, whatever. I'm excited because it's Thanksgiving week and I have not done an episode on gratitude in a hot minute. I'm hoping to talk about gratitude in a way that maybe you haven't heard before, or maybe that will spark you to think about it in different ways. So, gratitude gets a lot of hype around this time of the year. It's important to be thankful. It's important to be grateful. And there's such a big difference between going through the emotions of gratitude and actually accessing it. Because gratitude is a feeling, it's an emotion. And so when we find the ways to help our body access it and not just say, oh, I'm really grateful for this, and then we go complain about something else, that when we get ourselves a chance to sit in that emotion, we activate so many benefits, not only for our mental health, for our relationships, but even for our physical health with gratitude. So, I'm going to share a little bit of the benefits with you in a minute. But first, I want to talk about the language of gratitude. One of the things that I struggled with, so gratitude, when I first started opening my business Clarity that I had in New York, I gratitude was trending. Sometimes personal growth stuff trends. It was a thing. They had gratitude journals. They had just started coming out with those. And so I was like, ooh, I love anything self-help, personal growth, personal development. I love working on myself. I love finding new practices that feel really good to me. But this journal that I got, it said I'm grateful for, and you listed different things. And for some reason, I would write things down and go through the motions of it, and it never quite felt any different. I never felt any different. I never felt benefits from this gratitude practice that I was doing every day. And I couldn't figure out what it was for the longest time. And what I realized, and I want you to be thinking about language. What I realized is that there are words that mean a lot to us, and there are words that don't mean a lot to us, that don't hit the same feeling or fire the same neurons as other words. There are words that light you up and words that don't feel as exciting. Gratitude and the word grateful, although great words, are not my words. They're not the words that allow my energy to get into that space of an open hearted energy. So I learned over the years that when I'm practicing gratitude, in order to feel it, I have to really be mindful of the words I'm using. So thank you does work for me, or feeling thankful does work for me. Appreciation works for me. Some people love feeling blessed. I feel blessed. That feels really good. Some people love the words abundance, or just the word love. Like for me, if I'm like, oh, I love that. I love it. I love it. That for me opens my heart and allows me to access that gratitude feeling, which is what we're really going for, is that feeling of gratitude in a just such a transformational, bigger, better way, in my opinion. So I want you to ask yourself, what are the words associated with gratitude? And maybe grateful is yours, but what words activate that heart center opening, that feeling of gratitude? And you might have to think about it for a minute. You might have to go in and say, what's the last time I was really thankful for something? When is the last time that I felt that in my body? And this is just a silly example, but this morning I was driving the kids to school in the crossing guards. It's downpouring this morning, and it's dark and it's downpouring, and the one crossing guard was there by herself. There's usually another person with her to help her out, so she's managing 6 lanes of traffic, and I'm just so happy and grateful and appreciative that somebody chose that job, because man, that is not a job I would want. And but man, if she wasn't there, what would that look like this morning? It would look like utter chaos. So I love the fact that there are people in this world, and I appreciate them so much, that are willing to show up to make sure my children can get safely to school, and it's not a total craziness for me driving as a parent. I'm so grateful. So think about that last time you felt really grateful, and I want you to think about the feeling. The cool thing about our brain is that we can pull up feelings no matter what. We can pull up feelings and access memory of feeling and bring it as though it's not a memory, bring it as though it's currently happening to us. So take a moment to scan your body. What does your body do when you're really grateful for something, when you're really thankful for something? What does your body do? Because this is the feeling we want to connect with while we're practicing gratitude. This is the feeling that we want to activate to actually get the benefits of doing the practice and to truly feel it in our soul, to give our brain the chance to like get sparked up in the way it's meant to get sparked up, that gives us all those good mental, physical, and emotional benefits. So play around with that. How does that feel for you? Where do you feel that in your body? What does that feel like? Again, for me, it feels like my heart is open. And when we're open and our heart is open, we're actually in a position to receive anyway. So it's a good feeling to practice feeling grateful or to call on a time in our memory where we just felt really grateful for something. Now, if you're like me, I love to know the science behind things. Like, why does this work? Why does this matter? How do we access these feelings in a more significant, substantial way? And I came across an episode, Dopamine and Mindset on the Huberman Lab podcast. Totally awesome neuroscience podcast. And he was talking about how when we do things that we enjoy, we get little dopamine hits. Dopamine is like a happy chemical, like happy hormone in our brain and our body. So when we're happy, we have dopamine being released. The problem with a hit is that it's temporary. And then when we get a dopamine hit, we get a release of dopamine. And then everything after kind of pales in comparison. So he used the example of if you're scrolling through social media, you see something you really love that really lights you up. And then afterward, the next four posts, you don't even kind of register, they don't feel the same because when we have a dopamine hit, it's not sustained. It kind of drops off. And then the feeling of that joy or that excitement drops off with it. So that could be scrolling through social media, drinking a cup of coffee, exercising, anything that would give you a short term boost in dopamine. Now, the cool part is that gratitude is one of the things that increases the volume of dopamine, which allows us to feel sustained joy from it. So, in the way of a dopamine hit where we're feeling it and then it dropping right off afterwards, the gratitude allows the sustainability of the dopamine to be in our system. So we actually are giving ourselves better access to a natural antidepressant by using gratitude because it is firing as long as we're connecting with emotion, right? It is firing the right neurons and giving us the dopamine production that's more sustainable that will last for a little bit longer time. So I think that's really freaking cool because I always love to know like why does this even work? What does this even do for us? And it really helps to increase the dopamine. The other thing that studies have found is that it helps rewire the brain. Now, I talk a lot about mindset and I talk a lot about like looking for what you desire and your brain is a filter and so it will look for what you tell it to. So when you're in a constant state of being in grievance or you just have a lot of complaints about everything or you're watching a lot of the news and there's just a lot of sad stuff happening, that your brain will start to accept that as reality and start to look for or experience more of that in your reality. The same is true that when we start to look for things to be grateful for, that our brain will start to automatically be rewired to look for more things to be grateful for. So it's really just a mindset practice that also has some really substantial brain chemical awesomeness combined with it. And the more we practice this, like going to the gym, the more we build up these muscles, both neurologically and chemically. And I just think that's so cool because the thing is like when we're doing this, this has so many benefits to us. Practicing gratitude can help you boost your immune system. So obviously in this day and age, we're all worried about, health and we're all supporting our health in the ways that we can. And you can support your health through practicing gratitude. They found that people healed quicker as well when they practice gratitude because it reduces stress and inflammation and that kind of thing in your body. The other cool stuff that it does is it improves sleep. It improves your energy field. So if you've ever been around somebody who's kind of crabby, you can feel that they're kind of crabby. When we are in a state of gratitude, our energy field and our frequency goes up. It goes up, it feels good, it feels light, and everybody around us can feel that. It also gives you hope for the future. And one of the coolest things I think about it is if you're struggling with a relationship, a friendship, any family relationship. We've got holidays approaching. Sometimes that's challenging if you've got, your great Aunt Mildred who complains about everything and we just have a hard time being around her because maybe there's political differences, whatever. When you practice gratitude, you can actually change your perception of a person. So if you're having a hard relationship with somebody, it's probably because you're noticing things that bother you about them. You're noticing things that they're doing wrong. You're noticing things that they always do, always say, always whatever that bother you. Because when we start to filter even people through a belief that they do things that are annoying or they're always like this or whatever the case might be, we have no choice but to see that within them. So if you're having a hard relationship or a hard time with somebody, it might be useful for you to find a couple things about them that you really do like. Some things that feel really good, some ways to appreciate them. We can start the process of appreciating people by noticing the things that we're grateful for within them, noticing the things we love about them. We can actually reset a dynamic, reset the energy between them, and our brain will start to automatically look for things to appreciate. Play around with that because that's a powerful one for Thanksgiving, I'll tell you that. For the holidays in general, it's a powerful tool to have in your back pocket. But the amount of benefits physically, mentally, and emotionally of practicing gratitude, like I said, it's a natural antidepressant. How freaking cool is that? We all need a little boost right now with our energy, with our emotions, with our, happiness. So something worth playing around with for sure. Now, how do you do this, right? How do I really practice gratitude and mean it? Like I said, you have to know what that feeling is, first of all. You have to also create a little practice for yourself. And this isn't something that, I don't know, I think that sometimes when we do the gratitude practice daily, it's harder to tap into the feeling of it. If you're not somebody who has a hard time tapping into that feeling, do it daily if that makes sense to you. But our whole goal is to fire the feeling, right? So, a couple different ways. One is getting really present in your environment. What can I see? What can I, experience? What can I taste? What can I touch? All of those things, when you bring your energy, your focus, your senses into the moment, you notice little things that are adorable about your dog or your kids or your spouse, or you notice things to be appreciative of, or you have just more feelings of gratefulness in the moment. This is something that I've been practicing a lot lately is a thank you as it shows up. So the other day I was driving home and I was late. I was coming home from a meeting that was about 45 minutes away. I had left a little later and I was worried I wouldn't be able to get back in time to get my daughter off the bus. She's usually fine getting off the bus if I let her know that I might be running a few minutes behind, but that wasn't a day I was planning on being late. So I didn't let her know. So the whole way home, I was getting just green lights. The universe was trying its best to get me home on time. And every green light was just, thank you. Thank you for this green light. I'm so like, I just appreciate that the universe supports me, that the universe wants me to get home before my daughter does. And so it was this beautiful moment where I was able to practice gratitude while I was in a stressful situation. It not only reduced the stress, but I think it also attracted and opened doors for me to manifest getting home sooner than I was planning to. I actually beat her home by like 10 minutes. I was way ahead of schedule. So we can start the process of just noticing, of being grateful in the moment for the things that arise, for the things that come up. And that will definitely help you with stressful situations if you can find something to appreciate within them. You can also pray thankfully. I love to do this as a manifestation practice of writing a letter to the universe, a thank you note, as though all of the things I desire or need or want to feel are already the case. That's my favorite life changing practice. I will tell everybody about it until I'm blue in the face. Changes your absolute life if you can get into a practice of just thanking the universe for supporting you before it even does. Another way that you can do gratitude is either making lists of things that you love or appreciate. Write down things you love. Just taking a moment of time and just like, "God, I really just love walking. I love walking on the beach. I love when the sun is just perfectly in the sky. I love a good sunset. I love nature and just having it be so quiet and peaceful and having the sun just peek through the trees. Like that feels so good to even think about. And I love the first cup of coffee in the morning, especially on like a Sunday when it's quiet and I wake up before everybody else and it's just me and the dog. I love that first cup of coffee, and I really love. Gosh, I have the best friends. My friends are just so supportive and love me all the time, no matter what kind of crazy stuff I'm getting myself into. they just love me and support me. And you know what I just love? I love a great outfit. I love feeling good in an outfit. I love being able to piece something together that just makes me feel so confident and good. You can go through and just think about things that feel good to you. That might just be something as simple as like, love it when it's quiet in the house. It feels so good when it's quiet. Or I love having it be so blue sky so much here. I just love the blue skies. I love a day where it's just perfect out. It's like 65 and it's just blue and the sunny and it's November and that's amazing. And so you can sit down and write down just a list or make little boxes and fill them in and just think of things you love. That is actively practicing gratitude by saying I love these things or I appreciate these things or man, I'm so lucky to have these things, whatever that feels like for you. Another fun way to practice gratitude is to make a list of things you're grateful for and just jot down a couple every day, every other day. And just like 3 or 4 things, you don't have to do anything crazy, but what we're gonna do differently than a traditional gratitude list is we're going to write down 3 to 4 things each night, every other night, whatever you have time for, but I never want you to repeat. You can't repeat. This is going to allow your brain to start to look for new things to be grateful for. And it just allows you to continuously look because I mean after 100 days of doing this, your brain will have to be really actively looking for opportunities to be grateful. And maybe one of my favorite things, and I try to do this once a week, I try to think of somebody who's impacted my life either in that week or somebody who's helped me out or somebody who I just appreciate their being and just send them a little thank you message. Just say, "Hey, I'm so happy you exist. I'm so thankful for your help the other day. I'm so grateful that I have somebody to who knows what it's like to be a mother, who knows what it's like to be a business owner. I'm so grateful to be able to bounce off ideas. I appreciate your essence. It feels so good and it strengthens a relationship to notice the good stuff and to share it with people. Expressing gratitude is one of the biggest ways to strengthen any kind of relationship. And people feel seen, and it really, really helps establish a strong connection. So, writing a thank you note, I also love a handwritten letter. Love a handwritten letter. So, whatever way that feels good to send something that feels really good to acknowledge another person as being such an important person or important part of your life, write it down, write it out, make a list, savor the moments you're in, and work on resetting that filter. Because again, gratitude can rewire your brain, it can increase dopamine for sustained happiness as a practice. And I am so, so grateful for all of you. I feel so lucky every day. I always joke that I never feel like I work because I do love what I do so freaking much that it just feels like every day feels easy. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for all the people who listen to this podcast and for all the people who have supported me by purchasing my book, who have supported me through courses, who have just loved on me, shared my message, shared all the things that I create, and just allowed me to a space to continue to create. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. It really, really means so fucking much to me to feel so divinely supported and so supported by the people who this podcast reached. I'm so grateful for every review, every share, every little comment and DM. It means the freaking world to me. So I hope you take a moment today and send something loving to somebody you care about. Send a thank you to somebody that you appreciate. It will go a very long way. And yeah. So make sure to catch up with me, Nicole Eaton at NicoleEaton.com. Jump on my Instagram. Make sure to follow me, NicoleEaton.xo. And I will catch up with you guys soon. I appreciate you. I love you. Happiest of Thanksgiving. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you so much for listening to the Rock Your Soul book and podcast. Take a moment to book a one-on-one session with me or purchase my trainings at NicoleEaton.com. Join the Rock Your Soul Facebook group or follow me on Instagram at NicoleEaton.xo. And if you loved this podcast, don't forget to share it. Thank you.